Stoicism is one of the most widely known philosophies in the world, and one of the most misunderstood. It is often presented as emotional suppression, indifference, or a way to harden yourself against pain. But that version of Stoicism is incomplete and in many cases, false. Stoicism is not a motivational tool. It is not comfort. It is not a technique for feeling better. It is a moral philosophy, one that places standards and obligations on the individual. It asks something of you, and because it asks something of you, it gives you something in return: orientation, clarity, and a way to live that is not dependent on circumstances. And if you are looking for reassurance, this video is not for you. If you are looking for a way to live properly, without being ruled by chaos, impulse, or fear, then stay. Today I will explain Stoicism as it was meant to be understood, through Areté, the 4 cardinal virtues and reason. In the heart of Stoicism lies the single idea of Areté. In essence, it is excellence in accordance with nature. It is not any external achievement or success. It is something attainable to any human being. Every living being has a function, a role in the theater of the universe. A knife cuts, a horse runs, and a human reasons. Our nature is rational and moral action. And according to the Stoics, living well means fulfilling our role well. Areté means fulfilling our duty. Suffering cannot take it away from you. Success cannot give it to you. That is Areté. Your capacity for Areté is invincible, untouchable by the external world. It's not tied to anything. It does not demand anything beyond your own actions. Imagine 2 people, one rich, the other in poverty. One successful, the other struggling. One unjust and the other just. One acts out of emotion, the other out of reason. Who do you think the Stoics deem aligned with Areté? A Stoic would say that the second man, despite poverty, is much freer, much happier, and much more virtuous than the first man. Regardless of your circumstances, achievements, or what you own, being virtuous and reaching Areté is fully within your control. However, simply knowing Areté exists is not enough to reach it. You must know what reason and virtue actually is, and why the Stoics say that virtue is the only good in life. Just as a temple crumbles without pillars, Areté crumbles without the 4 cardinal virtues. The ideal of the Stoics and their 4 pillars, their 4 cardinal virtues: Dikaiosine, Andrea, Sophrosyne, and Sophia, justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. These are the principles the Stoics hold themselves to, the practical measuring stick they use to align with nature. Dikaiosine. It means acting justly in alignment with the common good, fulfilling our obligations as cosmopolitans to the world. Honesty and fairness are 2 strong tenets of Dikaiosine. Another tenet is the idea that we all humans share reason, and thus we share moral concerns. Dikaiosine says that you, as a human, is obligated to your world and the other humans around you. You do your job, and you should do it well. Lying, stealing, or having a detrimental effect on the world around you is, in essence, inimical to Dikaiosine. However, do not mistake Dikaiosine for law following. It is based on principles, not laws. Stoicism can often be very critical of laws. Imagine that you are a manager and you mess up badly, but then you realize that there is a junior employee you could blame. Acting without Dikaiosine, the outcome is favorable. There is no damage to your reputation and no punishment follows. But it violates justice. It violates the virtue of Dikaiosine. Because responsibility and punishment is not fairly distributed, the common good is harmed, and reason is subordinated to self-gain and emotion. The manager is corrupted. Although it would be externally successful, it would be a massive internal failure. Inner harm towards the virtue of the agents, and outer harm to the common good. As you can probably tell by now, Stoicism is not the easier path. It is inconvenient and difficult, but it is the path of virtue, reason, and a life of purpose, says the Stoics. Often in life, fear, nervosity, and uncertainty cause us to falter with reason and listen to our emotions rather than using one of our faculties, the second pillar. It is not exactly bravery in a heroic and dramatic way. It's moral endurance. Andrea essentially means do what reason prescribes, regardless of fear, pain, adversity, or any other obstacle that intimidates you. It is the active strength of virtue, the muscle that allows the individual to remain virtuous in difficult circumstances. It is the refusal to abandon virtue once it gets difficult or costly. It's not dominance, it's not emotional suppression, and it's not risk-seeking. Andrea as a virtue is only possible if it's guided by the Dikaio sign and Sophia. Some common misconceptions are that Andrea is fearlessness, recklessness, or aggression. It's not. Zoning on fear, it's natural. Feeling afraid is absolutely normal. Stoics are human, but they are good humans. They know that fear is natural, but they still have an obligation, which lies in their capacity to endure it. Do not surrender your reason to fear. That is failure. Be scared and do it either way. That is courage. Imagine that you are at work and suddenly you hear a ruckus. So you get up from your desk and see that a coworker is being openly humiliated or blamed for a mistake they didn't commit. Now you have the option to speak up or stay silent. Everyone else is dead silent except the red screaming manager. Speaking up risks social backlash, it will draw attention, and it will possibly damage your own standing. The manager does have a lot of power over you, and if he were to be angry at you, it would likely come with consequences. So remaining silent is safer and easier. Andrea is choosing to speak the truth anyway. Not with anger, not with drama, but with calmness and control. That's what reason demands, regardless of what your fear tries to tell you. No person is free who is not a master of themselves. That is the essence of it. Self-resign is the virtue of temperance, moderation, and self-mastery. It is controlling yourself, ensuring you act properly. Much is included in this, but essentially it is the state of mind where reason is in control over emotions. Moderation with food, sleep, entertainment, and everything else. The capacity to differentiate between necessities and unnecessary pleasures. Self-resign means that you own yourself. You're not being controlled by impulses or external forces. Rather, you rule yourself and act in alignment with virtue, choosing reason over impulse. Doom scrolling for hours, masturbation, sleeping in, eating unhealthy snacks, pleasure in disguise of energy, and there are many more examples. It's excess beyond moderation. Self-resign is eating until you are satisfied, not until you're stuffed, sleeping until you are rested, not as long as you possibly can. However, it is also crucial to understand that Stoicism does not reject pleasure. It rejects dependency on it. It rejects excess. Pleasure becomes a vice when it governs reason. Marcus Aurelius, often seen as the face of Stoicism, said, "At all times, ask yourself, is this necessary?" He said that we were below our quota on work and way past our quota on drinking, eating, and sleeping. And as the centuries have passed, that fact has only gotten more and more correct. Stoicism does not advocate for asceticism. It is not opposed to it, but a virtuous man does not need to strip themselves of everything. Rather, a strong man can have the cake and know they won't overindulge. They can ensure the indifferent does not become a vice. They can enjoy life without falling into vice. That said, let's move on to the final virtue. I deliberately saved Sophia for last because it's the most fundamental and complex of the four virtues. It's not intelligence, education, or accumulated knowledge. It is the capacity to judge correctly, to distinguish between what is good, what is evil, and what is indifferent. We are constantly met with impressions from the world. Something happens and the mind immediately responds, "This is bad, this is unbearable, this is unjust," or "I need this to be happy." Sophia is the pause between impression and action. It is the ability to step back and ask, is this true? Is this aligned with reason? Or am I reacting emotionally? Without Sophia, the other virtues become blind. Courage becomes recklessness, temperance becomes repression, justice becomes rigid or cruel. Sophia is what tells us when, how, and why to act. When you receive harsh criticism, how do you feel? The immediate impression is that you have been insulted or attacked. Emotions urges retaliation or withdrawal. Sophia intervenes and asks, is this criticism true? And is my reaction improving my character or worsening it? And what response would be aligned with reason? Wisdom is observation and a deliberate response to the stimuli, proper judgment. It is the internal compass that allows the Stoic to remain oriented, regardless of their circumstance. And Sophia is deeply tied to the logos, which I will explain soon, which is the rational structure of the universe, and Sophia is our awareness of that rational order and our decision to align ourselves with it. Understand that true virtue can only exist once these pillars are holding it up. If one pillar falters, the whole construction collapses. Each virtue is an organ in an organism, essential. If your lungs collapse, your body follows. If your brain stops, your body follows. If your heart explodes, your body follows. Virtue can only exist when all virtues act in unity. A person with Sophia who knows the difference between good and evil, yet lacks the courage to act accordingly when it matters, is not virtuous. A person with courage but no wisdom will do more harm than good. Virtue, then, is not an isolated behavior. It is the state of the soul when it's aligned with reason. But then, what is reason? The Stoics believed in the rationale of nature, of reason. They believe that there is a fundamental order to the universe. This rational underlying structure they called the logos. It is not God in a personal sense. Rather, it's a principle, a living, organizing intelligence that burns throughout the world. Stoics also believe that while the world's events are largely outside our own control, deterministic in a sense, our own character and choices remain ours. This is the compatibilist freedom. You cannot control the storm, but you can control the ship, and reason is your rudder. The reason humans are able to reason is because there is a small spark of logos within each of us that allows us to act with reason and virtue, unlike animals who lack logos and thus act in accordance to their impulses. Through logos, we perceive what is good, evil, and indifferent. It allows us to interpret impressions, choose our response and act in accordance with virtue. For the Stoics, only virtue is truly good. Not wealth, not pleasure, not reputation, not even love, adventure, or anything else. Why? Because the genuine good must be self-sufficient, reliable, and entirely within your control. Anything outside you, money, health, status, is conditional. It can be lost, taken, or corrupted. Imagine placing a priceless vase on a shaky pedestal. No matter how beautiful, it will eventually fall. The same is true when you place your happiness in external things. You become dependent, vulnerable, and ultimately a slave to circumstances. Virtue, in contrast, belongs entirely to you. It cannot be taken away from you, only exercised or neglected. This also explains why Stoics value moral consistency over outcomes. A person of virtue may suffer, while a person of vice may prosper. External success does not validate character. Only virtuous action counts, because it is self-contained, complete, and incorruptible. You act rightly not for reward, not to avoid punishment, but because that is the life your rational nature demands. A virtuous action is complete the moment it is taken. No applause, no fortune, and no avoidance of pain can make it better or worse. It is an internal engine, self-sufficient, impervious to circumstances. Lastly, it is important to understand that Stoicism is not about feeling better. It is about living rightly. It is about acting from reason, aligning your life with nature, and building a soul that cannot be shaken by chaos. The external world will always fluctuate, but virtue gives you stability. And before we end, I want you to understand that Stoicism does not demand perfection. Perfection is the goal, not the expectation. Failure is inevitable. You will act irrationally. You will fall short of virtue. But Stoicism does not judge you by isolated moments. Everyone strays from Stoicism occasionally. Everyone falters. Stoicism does judge your honesty, your direction, and your effort. The Stoic does not collapse into self-hatred when they fail, nor do they excuse themselves. They recognize the failure, correct their course, and continue. This is the discipline of Stoicism, not emotional numbness, not withdrawal from life, but the quiet, persistent effort to live in alignment with your nature. And while Stoicism does not promise happiness as a feeling, it offers something much more durable: self-respect, inner stability, and freedom from being ruled by the world. This is what the Stoics call eudaimonia. And that is the offer of Stoicism. Whether you choose to accept it or not is up to you.